Alright, to find the derivative of this function, f of t, it looks, and it's tempting to say we could combine some like terms right here, but those are not going to be like terms. This is like the cube root of t squared, and this is like the cube root of t. And t squareds and t's are of course not like terms, and so neither are these. So don't try to force those together. Now if it was multiplied, then yes, we could. But subtracting, add or subtract, they've got to be the like terms to combine those together. So we're going to have to jump. There's not any rewriting we can do to make this easier for us. We just need to jump straight into the power rule. So power rule here, bring the power down, lower the power by 1. Bring the power down, lower the power by 1. And the derivative of a constant is 0, so we don't need to keep up with that. Alright, so this is like 2/3 t to the negative 1/3 minus 1/3 t to the negative 2/3. And since these have negative exponents, we really should move them to the other side of a fraction so that they have a positive exponent. So t to the negative 1/2 in the numerator is like t to the, I'm sorry, 1/3. T to the negative 1/3 in the numerator is the same thing as t to the positive 1/3 in the denominator. T to the negative 2/3 in the numerator is the same thing as t to the positive 2/3 in the denominator. And there's just a 1 left there. So I would be tempted to call it quits here. However, it looks like we could go a little bit further, and especially if the question was written as multiple choice, I really think that they would probably find a common denominator here and force these together, because these already have a common denominator of 3, and this one has t to the 2/3, this one just has t to the 1/3. So what this one is missing to make it t to the 2/3 is a t to the 1/3, because when you multiply things with the same base, you add the exponents, and 1/3 plus 1/3 is 2/3. So let's keep going here. So now I can't just multiply this denominator unless I'm willing to multiply the numerator as well. This way I'm essentially multiplying by 1 and not changing the size. And now this gives me a common denominator of 3t to the 2/3. And when I combine these together, I can put numerator minus numerator. So t to the 1/3 minus 1. And then that looks pretty good. So they might write this as a radical. Exponent of 1/3 is like a cube root. And if they wanted to write this one as a radical, the over 3 is like the cube root, and then this 2 is like a square. So if I was to make a multiple choice question, that's probably how far I would go before I quit.